And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another week, another exciting edition of the World Team League 2023 Summer Round 8, day number 1. I'm, of course, your host, Live VIP, and with me, I'm joined by the one, the only, the AsherBro. Oh. Hello, Papi. Hello.
Oh, I'm muted. I'm muted, Light. I'm muted. Don't panic. I'm muted. And I'm also not in the game.
Wait, what? You're not in the game?
Can you Discord stream?
What do you mean? Where are
I'm in
you?
the game.
No, you're in the lobby?
No.
Leave the party and join my game.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can't join your game. I think it thinks I'm in a game.
It does.
Okay. I need to... I'm panicking.
For those wondering, of course, today is a bit of a different, a bit of a special World Team League broadcast because there is no clean feed. There is no
Because
clean...
I'm here.
it's dirty, Papi. It's us. It's disgusting. But there is no clean feed,
okay.
and...
I'm in.
Are you in?
Yep, I'm here.
Okay, thank God. Whew, hopefully there's no issues because I think there's 2 AsherBros in the lobby, but it's fine. But there is no clean feed today, which does mean that we don't have the intro video, and we don't have like the ad break and all the fancy graphics. We do apologize for that, but for whatever reason, it is not available today. So instead, we're gonna go old school. We're gonna go like our typical broadcast. We're in the lobbies themselves, which means we can observe the games ourselves as well.
Oh yeah, are you going to observe or are we going to follow someone?
I can observe. Yeah.
Okay.
So old school, Papi. Old school. It's been so long since we've been in a lobby together.
It's a little bit crowded. I think people are watching.
It's true.
But spawning here. In the top right-hand corner of the map, we are kicking it off with an absolute banger of a TVT. This is one of the greatest of all time, greatest to ever do it, from Onsyde, Maru.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Ancient Cistern, we have another S-tier player because it's our house now, Papi. We can say whatever the hell we want. There are no stats that can say otherwise. The world champion.
No rules.
No rules. The Chinese Terran representing CranKy Gaming. It is Oliveira.
He's red. He's Protoss. He's a professional hairdresser.
Oh, he is. He was paid to cut hair. That did happen. That's his professional thing. Yeah.
Okay, well, already we're starting things off a little bit weird. This is a build I've never seen Maru do. I've seen Beyond and Bunny do it quite a lot, actually, but he's gone for a gas first, and it's probably going to be a fast expand as well. So this usually leads into Reactor Hellions, which is unusual in this matchup, but it does make you very safe to any type of Reaper Hellion attack.
Yeah, and I'm really curious to see how this all plays out. As you were saying, this is something that Maru doesn't do quite often. We'll see if Oliveira can kind of catch wind of this as well. And I guess for some context, we did just kind of jump into things. This is, of course, our first matchup of the night. CranKy Gaming versus Onsyde. Oliveira is denied entry into the main, and he is in the dark as to what Maru is going to be up to.
Yeah, that's a really sus depot. But I have seen people do that before. I was always wondering where people go down to the low ground. Anyway, so Maru, he's playing mind games a little bit here. He's trying to hide exactly what it is he's doing. There is still quite a few different things this could be, but... Okay, no, that was really weird. Now that I think about it, that was really weird. The whole point of going gas first is to get a faster factory, and you do that by cutting the depot. And because he made the depot to block out Oliveira, it's not really a fast factory anymore. I don't understand Maru
Well,
sometimes.
I mean, I would imagine to give him a little bit of credit. I would imagine that maybe he was hoping that Oliveira wouldn't SCV scout him, kind of like how Maru isn't SCV scouting either. Because the SCV showed up, he was kind of forced to hide his build, or he feels like he's forced to try to keep Oliveira in the dark. I would imagine that's what's happening, but it does kind of make his build inefficient, I guess.
Yeah. Okay, the timing's not that bad in the end. And yeah, usually this is going to be maybe 6 Hellions or something like that, and a Raven, or a couple Ravens. And yeah, he's kind of just hoping that Oliveira will push into him with Reaper and Hellion, and he can clean it up with Hellions. But Oliveira, actually, he's going for a very fast Cyclone. This is a cool response.
Yeah, he's going for a Cyclone first. Is going to be stopping the Reaper and the Hellion production. Instead, it's going to be being a lot more defensive as a result of his lack of scouting, I imagine. And
this is my build that I learned from an Oliveira replay.
you mean it's Oliveira's build from that you learned from his own replays?
Yeah. It's the Beyond build. We've talked about this before. The 2 Cyclones and the Banshee.
Yeah. Let's go, Papi. Let's go. His first Hellion does show up across the map. Only 2 Hellions of Maru are revealed. The others are kept in the main base just in case Reapers do jump in. So for the time being, is going to be held off. As you were saying, it is going to be that Banshee first. Is something that Beyond has maybe popularized or has been throwing out quite a bit in TVT. And yeah, there's a lot of potential with this.
Yeah, the other thing with this build that this is why I love this build. When I copied it from Oliveira, it's his build. He gets the 3rd really early here. 420 would normally be an early 3rd CC, and this is a 4-minute 3rd, so this is like crazy early. And you can kind of do that because you have you can keep the Banshee at home even for a bit. So you got 2 Cyclones, you got a Banshee, you've got so many defensive resources here. So that's why you can go for a bit of a greedier 3rd CC.
Yeah, and we'll see if he can get away with it. Maru, he's going to be zooming across the map with his abundance of Hellions, as you were saying before. This is 8 Hellions and 1 Raven, so even more so than we assumed. And with this, he can maybe try and rush past the army and get into a mineral line, but for the time being, he does spot the Banshee and he does back off.
Yeah, he's going to respect the Banshee. I think if he knew exactly what was going on, he could probably actually just dive in here and try to go for SUV kills. And it would take Oliveira a little while to clean it up, but once the tank is out, that should be just about it. So pretty much now, Maru is just using this force to clear out map vision. So any random units that would be scattered across the map for Oliveira, he just wants to find them and take them out.
Yeah, exactly, and we'll see if he is able to do so. As for the time being, not quite anything out yet. The Banshees do stay at home for the time being, and yeah, we do see Oliveira kind of getting away with that 3rd base. That so far hasn't been scattered. Maru is going to be going for his own 3rd.
Yeah, both players going to be going for this fast stim transition that we've been seeing very popular in TVT lately, where normally you would swap your starport onto a reactor, go for some Vikings, play for that air control and stuff like that. But it's been the meta lately to go very heavy on Marines and delay any starport production and get some medevacs later.
Yeah, it's something that specifically I feel like Maru and Beyond have been doing a lot, and I guess they've kind of been influencing the Korean scene a little bit more as well in that sense. And personally, I really enjoy it. Like, it's very kind of flexible, just because there's just so many balls of bio all over the place, and it can be very dynamic.
Yeah, it was kind of funny. So I think everyone was doing this when this patch first came out. And then the Europeans kind of went, oh, you know what? We can just do the old builds anyway, and we can play with Vikings and it's fine. And they've kind of gone back to the old meta. But the Koreans have stuck with this like fast stim, fast medevac sort of aggressive meta, which doesn't surprise me because it's pretty similar to how Koreans were playing anyway. So yeah, it just means we see very aggressive dynamic TVTs a lot more often now, which is great. Patch actually doing something. Crazy.
Always a good thing, Papi. Here we go. We have the disable on the forward tank. The Heli's diving on forward. The tank is going to be going down immediately. And this 3rd base is looking very exposed. Oliveira has to try to engage, or he's trying to.
Yeah, Maru's got a really weird army here where he's going to trade extremely poorly if there's ever tanks, but he's done such a good job disabling the tanks, and Oliveira really just didn't have that many tanks altogether. I think if he had 2 or 3 tanks next to each other, he might have been able to hold this, but these Hellions are just decimating the Marines.
Yeah, the Marines, they don't really stand a chance. The Hellions are getting towards that mineral line as well. The Ravens are running out of energy. The boys are being pulled. Another tank is now coming out.
Yeah, boys pulled into Hellions. That is not what you want to see. That's a bit of a disaster. Maru's going to pick up and get out of there, but the damage has well and truly been done. 16 SEVs going down already. Maru has a massive lead.
Yeah, he really does. Now he's going to be laying siege upon that third base. He's going to back off in the end. He's going to be respecting that tank for the time being. But no, he just reinforces with a tank of his own.
Yeah, and this CC is in a huge amount of trouble now. Maru, he is just going to change his focus, goes for the army. G is called, and Maru going to be taking this one very convincingly.
G, well played. As you were saying, really efficient use of his ravens more than anything. He was able to just pick apart Oliveira. There was never really a critical mass of tanks that were really threatening Maru, and he was able to just abuse that wholeheartedly. And yeah, really solid game there from Maru.
Yeah, that was really nice stuff from Maru. Really good adaptation as well. I feel like he did a really good job of not throwing away those Hellions from the start of the game and saving them for later on, which might have been tempting. And because of that, he had such a crazy push later on. And as for Oliveira, I guess he just needed to keep his tanks together a little bit more, but that was a brutal game.
Yeah, it really was. It kind of ended before it could really get going for Oliveira. He was going for a more defensive style, trying to get away with that third base, and was never really able to assert himself at all in that game. So maybe a bit of a frustrating one there from Oliveira, but he's going to try and bring it back here on his map of choice, Dragon Scales.
Oh, now I've got the replay. I've been not wanting to try this mass Hellion build. Even though Beyond and Bonnie were doing it, but now that Maru's done it, I think I have to try it.
That makes it good, Papi.
Yeah. If Maru does it, it's allowed now.
Shaky my head. Shaky Maru, he does a lot of stuff. Some of it a little bit questionable.
He does do a lot of stuff.
Shaky my head.
But he's had time to think about this one.
Oh, okay, sure.
I guess actually he has kind of made a point in the past of clowning on Oliveira.
Yeah. There's reason for that. There's a little bit of history, maybe some bad blood, maybe not so much. We'll see as we're going to be getting into game number 2 and spawning. Oh, never mind. Looks like we may have to restart the game. Oh, okay.
Oh, chassis, isn't there? Okay.
Yeah. Oh, how do you pronounce that?
Chassis?
Chassis. Okay. Fair enough. The more you know. But yes, we are going to be hopping out of game, remaking. It looks like we accidentally left out one of the Chinese casters.
All right. We're going to let them cook. We're going to let the players get a little bit more nervous, a little bit more on edge. But yeah, so Oliveira, he picked out it as his second map. I feel I'm a bit thrown off not having the graphics and stuff. I'm not thinking about, map picks and stuff like that. But, hello, what? Oh, good. Okay. It said you left the party.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, I'm a little bit thrown off by not having like the graphics for the map picks and things like that. But I guess remembering now, this is going to be Oliveira's map pick because he lost the first game. So he picks Dragon Scales. This is a map where drop play and in particular 2-base all-ins can be really scary.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm really going to be concerned here a little bit for, I don't know, I was going to say for Maru, but I'm sure Maru is fully aware of that as well. So these two players have they've played against each other so often in the past couple of months, ever since I am Katowice. I'm sure some metagaming is going to be involved as well. I'm really interested to see how the dynamic of this matchup does unfold as, we're getting into game 2.
And the other thing to note about this map is the ramp is really far, the Reaper jump, is really far away from everything else. So it's a pretty appealing proxy Reaper map. Yeah. We could be seeing that. As here we go, spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, this time in the red. This is going to be playing for Onsyde, Maru.
And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Dragon Scales, we have as opponents, we have, representing CranKy Z Gaming, the Chinese Terran, it is Oliveira.
Oh, and what is Maru up to? This is not the normal proxy Rax timing. This looks more like something where he might want to just hide a Rax.
Yeah, we'll see as the first SCV is going to be moving out towards the left-hand side of the map. We have our first Rax back at home. We could go for a 2 Rax opener instead.
Yeah, this is very cute. So it looks like he's going to have one Rax out on the map and one Rax at home. And I love the way that he's positioned his buildings back at home. So he's forming a full Reaper wall. That's very clever.
Yeah, exactly, and he should be able to wall that off in its entirety. Fun fact, I actually casted Beyond recently on this exact same map.
Yeah, he did this too, I remember, yeah, on this map, yeah.
Yeah, and he actually didn't wall it off properly.
Yeah, I remember, so Beyond put his racks just where the SCV is coming past now, so in the blue SCV, sorry. Yeah, just up at that base there, yeah.
Oh boy, so yeah.
I saw that game.
Great, great minds, Papi. You know, Beyond, Maru, you know, they do think alike quite often. They do practice.
So cute.
Yeah.
They actually share builds so often. You can always see when one of them does a build, the other one will do it, and they do it on the same maps as well. So if you are as well looking for builds, you want to play like Maru, play like Beyond, they do seem to very deliberately pick the builds for the maps. So I think there's something to that.
Yeah, for sure. I would love to gain some insight when it comes to how they practice, how they come up with things together. But it's really cool. It's really cool that they do kind of have that little bond that they do have amongst each other. And we'll see how this does unfold as well. The two Reapers are going to be on the way. The SCV of Oliveira was able to confirm the one Rax back at home, but hasn't seen the other. Oh.
Oh, yeah, and Maru's doing this. Maru's been doing this a lot lately. He's actually been doing these like proxy 1-1-1s very often, and it's pretty wild. So Oliveira does have the SEV pool. He is going to be defending this very well. I have noticed Oliveira's responses are always extremely well rehearsed. I mean, he did talk about it a lot at IM Katowice, that he was practicing lots of different situations. So I think it does show a lot of these cheese defenses he has extremely well rehearsed, whether it's this sort of thing or like a proxy gate. But this could get a little bit dicey. He's gone for a reactor, which is quite risky, but it will pay off once these Reapers do kick in.
Yeah, and I was also really curious as well, because you're saying how Oliveira, he has been practicing a lot, or drilling a lot against cheeses, which is not wrong, but what about this specific kind of proxy 1-1-1, especially because this is so out of the norm. This is so Maru, and no one else really does this sort of thing.
Yeah, Maru has just been playing wild lately. I mean, we saw, as we do have a bit of an engagement first, there's a lot of Reapers here coming at Oliveira. It's really important Oliveira doesn't lose units, and he does lose one Reaper.
Yeah, one Reaper does go down. Maru hasn't lost anything yet. He's going to be rotating over towards the production line as well. We have 2 Marines being made at a time, but that reactor is under threat.
Yeah, Maru going to be diving in with these 6 Reapers as well, throwing down some grenades. Good dodges coming out from both players. Both of them microing very well here, but Maru is starting to make tanks and Vikings here.
Yeah, it's going to be proxy tank into the Viking as well. Who the hell proxies the tank? The answer is Maru, of course. And Oliveira is going to try and catch wind of this. Looks like he did spot that starport as it was being built. And Oliveira is going to go for a bit of a backstab with his Reapers.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic move against any of these proxy 1-1-1 type builds. There's nothing back at home. So it's really, really important that at some point you find the space to go for one of these backstabs.
And here we go, the Reaper shop across the map. Looks like they will be delaying the CC. They do get 1-2 SCVs already. They get into the main base, they disrupt the production, and just like that, the Reapers and Hellions of Maru are racing back home.
Yeah, Maru's going to be pulling back with everything, which is kind of crazy to me. I feel like he doesn't need to bring this much back home, but he does have the tank and the Viking at the front, and they will be serving as a little bit of a contain. But, Oliveira's actually going to be able to creep up on top of these tank and siege on it, and Oliveira's got what he needs to defend this now.
Yeah, the Hellion does tank those tank shots, does soak them up, and Oliveira just shuts this completely down. The Vikings are diving on in. It looks like Maru feels pressure to do some economic damage, but there's just so much back at home. Maru, he can't do anything.
Okay, Maru's CC is at the same time as Oliveira's, which is just absurd. That makes 0 sense to me. That micro is kind of absurd as well. Takes out the Viking without losing his Vikings at all, despite flying over the Marines, and now it's just Maru doing Maru things. I was going to say as well, before all the action kicked off, he has been doing stuff like this in TVP as well, but here we go, we are going to be going into a fight once again. Beautiful spread by Oliveira, going to be minimizing the damage from the tank splash.
Yeah, exactly. Still loses his ground army, but the tanks do survive, and he pushes Maru away once again. Gets a lock on the Viking, takes down the Viking as well, and Oliveira can now mine safely from his natural.
Yeah, but so can Maru. Maru already mining and this is a bit of an overextension by Oliveira. I'm not sure if he needed to come out and fight this far, and if he loses both tanks, he is going to be in huge trouble now.
Oh, both tanks are going to be going down. The Cyclone gets zoned away. The third tank is under threat. Maru, he wants it. Oh.
Yeah, he is in some serious trouble now. The Vikings, they do so much damage to tanks. That tank is still in range. It's going to be going down, and Oliveira, he's getting punished for that overextension now, and Maru's starting to snowball things.
Yeah, he really is. You do have the Vikings coming out from Oliveira. He takes down 2 of the Vikings of his opponent, but he doesn't quite have enough to really land on this location. Boys are being pulled, and Oliveira, he's just losing more SCVs.
Yeah, this is just fascinating to watch such high-level play coming out of both players, despite the actual situation being pretty clownish. And we do see Maru back at home going to be going for this 2-on-1 setup too. This is a beautiful transition. Really interesting way to play it out here. As I was saying, this map does suit drop play and aggressive 2-base play really well. But yeah, we finally get a moment to breathe now.
Yeah, I mean, you were talking about it, like, this does kind of lead into a way to capitalize on how much damage Maru has already done. Like, he's reset the tank count time and time again, and now with this, we're going to hit a very strong timing with that stim. And Oliveira, what does he have at home to defend? He's still trying to build back up his tank count, building back up his Viking count as well.
Yeah, Oliveira actually looks like he's in a really rough spot here. This kind of production that he's going for can pretty easily be overwhelmed by mass stim bio if it's spread out a lot. I love the Viking land, but the reaction from Maru is very quick.
Yeah, it really is. And oh, the Vikings are going to be going down. Only one, no, not even one, manages to escape. So Maru cleans it up. He loses 4 SCVs, but well worth it for 3 Vikings.
Yeah, so what I was trying to remember the TVP game, it was versus Firefly. He went for a proxy 1-1-1 and made a reactor Hellion drop, like just outside his base. It was insane.
Yeah.
Maru's just like, he's going crazy. He's putting on shows. I think he does want to put on a bit of show when he plays in World Team League.
Yeah. I mean, hey, even Manamule sometimes. But here we go. The tanks are getting within range, and looks like despite having all these Vikings, they aren't quite in range of the Vikings of Maru. Does take down one of those units though.
Yeah, nice scan there by Maru, but a bit of a weird place to push in because of that high ground vision. You can't actually sneak up on tanks from there, like you would normally be able to do high ground on low ground. Maru actually has a lot of Marines here. He's got Stim finished as well, so this is going to be a pretty scary push considering Oliveira's army is pretty tech heavy and doesn't really have that much meat to it.
Yeah, exactly. +1 is going to finish up in a couple of seconds as well, just in time for said push. Behind this, Maru is taking a 3rd TC. He's working on the rest of his production as well, so by no means is he all in. He's just looking to find some damage, maybe even get within range of that tech lab, if possible.
Yeah, Maru could try to siege the low ground here. Oliveira does have a very well-placed tank, but it's going to be super important that the Vikings spot out the tanks here. And they're not quite able to, so that tank's going to be going down.
Ooh, yeah, the tank does go down, and now Maru can try and leapfrog forward from here. Maybe try to get another tank as well as he rotates over on the right-hand side. Liberator has arrived, so Oliveira is going to be flexing his air superiority here with said libs.
Yeah, the lib's huge. That's really important, and it does take advantage of the fact that Maru, if he wants to take out that lib, is going to have to run in with his Marines under tank fire, but looks like while Oliveira is going to be able to secure his natural, I don't really see a way for him to take a 3rd anytime soon. Maru just might just look to contain him at this point.
Yeah, I mean, we've got tanks, we're sending reinforcements, we have a 4th tank joining the fray as well, and sure, the Liberators can sometimes bully him away, but Maru, for the most part, can contain his opponent, is looking to get within range of this tank. Up!
Yeah, very aggressive. He's going to be sieging right on top of this tank. Has that scan, so the tank goes down. Pretty fortunate for Oliveira that Stim is already done because this is probably the most exposed a tech lab could possibly be. Combat Shields is not going to be happening though.
Yeah, exactly. Combat Shields is going to be cancelled. Tech Lab does barely survive as the medevac does go down, but it will burn down regardless as Maru is going to be rotating around looking for another angle. Behind this, we have an armory on the way for 2-2. We have our 3rd base being taken and saturated already by Maru.
Yeah, the scan does come down for Oliveira, so he sees that he is in a pretty unfortunate position. Maru going to be loading up a drop as well, so looks like he wants to keep putting that pressure on while he does have this contain going, and I don't think Oliveira's caught onto this at all.
Yeah, he is not in position whatsoever. We have one tank in the main, but it's going to go down to the Marines as we do carpet bomb into the main base. We have the stim, and Oliveira is just rushing back home to try and defend.
Oh, and the upgrades are going to go down before he can finish 1-1. That is huge.
Oh my god, the second eBay goes down as well. Not a single upgrade finishes for Oliveira.
Yeah, and all these units, they will be taken out, but it doesn't really matter. The long-term benefits that Maru's gained himself here are just huge, and he might even be able to get a couple of these medevacs out. No, the Vikings are going to get on top of them.
Yeah, it looks like both medevacs will be shut down, but as you were saying, this is already worth it. We may lose all these Marines, but hey, we took down... Oh my god, we even denied combat shields again!
Yeah, we get combat shields again, and Oliveira being a little bit crafty, just sieging that tank on top of a depot to try to mess up the targeting, but yeah, he's just in a lot of trouble now. He might even have to SCV pull and just go for some kind of all-in, because he's got no longevity in this game. He can't just start 1-1 again and then be 1-1 versus 2-2. He might even be 1-1 versus 3-3 if he tried to do that. So yeah, it is the options for Oliveira are quickly running out.
Yeah, Maru's just been picking him apart. We do see in the middle of all this, Oliveira is trying to sneak out that third CC, is now landing it on location, and is going to attempt to break on out. And here we go. He does go for the drop on top of the tanks, or at least threatens to.
Yeah, Oliveira is in desperation mode. He has to find something, some kind of way to break out of this, some kind of way to be extra greedy to try to get himself back into the game. I mean, this is all but over here unless he can catch a bit of a windfall.
Yeah, and maybe one of those would be if he's somehow able to get all these tanks as efficiently as possible. He just slowly siege on forward, but no, we have the scan, and we're going to be trading 2 tanks for 1. Not even.
Yeah, we don't have the target fire on the tank there, unfortunately, from the Liberator. Oliveira could have taken out that red health tank. He is going to be going for a big drop to try to deal with this, but I mean, Maru's just got so much at home as well. He's really not committing as hard as he could be to the front, and yeah, look at the way that he's spreading out all of his units. He is hunting for anything that might be out on the map.
Yeah, I mean, he scanned earlier, he saw the lack of medevacs, he saw the lack of Marines, he knows that the army is somewhere else, just where he's not quite certain, as we do have the drop unloading outside the third base location. We can see maybe we can dive on top of this tank, maybe we can try and... Oh, actually, we're going straight for the natural.
Yeah, I think we can go straight through the middle here. The army's arranged on both sides, so he can just run straight on through. Might be able to take out the upgrades, get some SEVs on the way. So this is a really nice drop for Oliveira.
Yeah, we'll see what he can get done. He does take a position on top of the ramp as well. Does take a more efficient trade. Takes down a couple of deepers as well, but it looks like he's going to be forced back.
Yeah, I don't like this decision. I think as much as he's taking good trades are not going to save him in this game. He needs to do some lasting damage.
Yeah, exactly. I think we both assumed that going into the main base, maybe he could take down some of that tech, maybe disrupt the production in some way, but no, he traded against the army, and he was down in upgrades as well. 2-2 is now finished up. We have 2-2 to the 0-0 of Oliveira.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, this has been an absolute masterclass of TVT by Maru. Just a really stunning game from start to finish, and yeah, it feels like everything that he's done has just been taking away any chance for Oliveira to do anything in this game, just piece by piece, as Oliveira is going to have to go for one last big push here. Those Marines, they're 0-0 Marines.
Yeah, they're not pretty to look at, unfortunately. He's going to try and bypass the army. We do see a scan. Maru does spot him. He's going to try and reposition his own tanks as well. Oliveira does have a high army supply, a higher army supply than his opponent, but the quality of army is just lower, and he's going to push into tanks.
Yeah, he's going to be charging straight on into these tanks. The 1-1 Marines are getting shredded by them, but he does take out every single tank, and he preserves his own tank count. He does have Liberators as well, so there's a lot of potential here for Oliveira. He's at least going to make a base trade happen.
Yeah, but he loses his army. GG gets called. Maru did have enough reinforcements back at home, and he takes the 2-0.
Yeah, it looks like Maru got those Marines straight into the main, and Oliveira realized there was no way to save that situation. So 2-0 for Maru, but a very cool game.
A cool game indeed. GG, well played. Maru pulling off the proxy 1-1-1 in a TVT. You love to see it. Yeah, as you were saying before, we did see him already whip that out against a Protoss, against Firefly. Now we see him doing it here against Oliveira. He can just get away with so much because he's just so damn good at it. Not just when it comes to the openers, of course, but just his decision making as well. The value that he was able to get, denying those upgrades, sniping the E-base as well. Like, there was just so much that Maru was doing right.
Yeah, I mean, just a combination of the soft contain and taking out the upgrades. There's just nothing Oliveira could do, really. And Oliveira did a good job getting one counterattack in, but even that in the end just wasn't able to do enough for him.
Yeah, just goes to show how far behind he was in the end. And now we're getting into our second best of two. We wrapped up Maru versus Oliveira, and now we're going to be diving into Solar versus Hero.
Okay, banger of a ZVP. So these are just brilliant matchups start to finish here. And I will point out as well that this is potentially the number 1 and number 2 team. This could even be a bit of a preview of the grand final.
100%, 100%. I mean, no disrespect to Team Basilisk, of course, but both Onsyde and DKZ Gaming, they have just such solid lineups, such solid rosters as well, and it's hard to imagine them not making it into the top 4 or even the finals of WTL. So this is going to be a banger of a match. Obviously Maru was the favorite coming in against Oliveira, despite him being the world champion. Maru's just been looking so good recently, but Solar versus Hero is going to be another wild one, because even though I would probably say that Hero on paper should be the favorite, but recently his form has been a little bit shakier. You know, he has been dropping a couple of games here and there. Like, he isn't as on top as he once was a couple of months ago.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. Hero is one of those players as well that I wouldn't say so much his form comes and goes, as he's just not always in that, like, best in the world form. He's always good, but I feel like sometimes he takes the time in between tournaments to work on some different strategies, some different builds, and there can be a bit of mixed success there. I mean, we did see a few weeks to a month where he was really struggling in PBT, and I think that does come down to just trying out some different things here and there, but either way, I'm sure he'll be bringing it for this contest here, as spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of the map for DKZ. This is Hero.
And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Dragon Scales, going for the 15 hatch. You'd love to see it. We have the South Korean Zerg player representing Onsyde Gaming. It is Solar.
Tell us about the 15 hatch though.
Oh, it's Eric's build, Bappy. It's beautiful. But as you can imagine, you make a you make an Evo chamber. What am I saying? You make a gas geyser, you make a drone, you cancel it, you go for a faster hatchery. The goal of this is to actually get it on location. Long gone are the days, Papi. It's been years where Zerg players have not been allowed to expand at their natural base location against Protoss, but now that all changes.
Yeah, and this is really big because a lot of the strategy for Protosses, especially if they're going for Glaives builds or anything like that, did revolve around making 2 Adepts very early, setting them across the map, looking for a bit of damage, and just kind of setting the pace there and keeping the Zerg in the dark. So I do think that this does change pretty drastically the options that Protoss have in this matchup, and it's really interesting for that reason. I mean, Raynor himself, even in one of the videos, he was saying he was worried about playing versus Max Pax's Glaives, and that's why he learned this build.
Yeah, exactly. We have seen players like Raynor, players like Cyril, and even the Koreans adopt this 15 hatch open. I think Ragnarok was doing it a couple of days ago in the Kung Fu Cup as well, which was really cool to see. So yeah, this has kind of been making its way through the player base, and we've been even seeing it in some of the other matchups, like against Terran and even Zerg as well.
Yeah, I remember someone was asking Cyril about it when he was streaming, and he was saying that it seems pretty good to him in all matchups except ZVZ. So I think probably won't see Cyril doing it in ZVZ.
Yeah,
but I have seen him trying it a lot in the other matchups.
Definitely. I think it was Dark. Dark did it in ZVZ also, I think during the Kung Fu Cup. I think it was Dark versus Solar. And he lost that game horribly.
I'm not really sure what it's meant to do for you in ZVZ.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? Like, you can maybe be a little bit more efficient and cut some corners when it comes to Lings, sure, but yeah, I feel like the benefits you get in ZVZ are definitely lessened compared to some of the other matchups.
Yeah, like maybe if you wanted to play gasless, but I feel like that's pretty risky.
Yeah, exactly. To be fair, whenever Eric does do it in ZVZ, it is either to go gasless or to go for a fast rotoring. Like he uses it to, like as a launch pad to get into cheese. Whereas if you want to do it for macro purposes, then yeah, it's a little bit more of a mixed bag.
Yeah, like I feel like it might be, if you wanted to play like 2 base roach or something, it might be nice.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. As we're getting into this game, and I also kind of want to echo something that you were talking about earlier, and I do think it's 100% applicable, at least in PvZ, and that is the fact that Hero, in between major tournaments, he has been just really exploring the matchup so much, and that's why like he can be really volatile when it comes to his overall performance in weekly tournaments and in these major events as well, is just because he's been trying out so many different things, you know, whether it's going for the mass charged oracle build or going for these offbeat adept timings or being greedy as well. Like, yeah, he's been really exploring a lot.
Yeah, but here we go. We are going to be putting the aggression on, and already you can see, I mean, just because of the way that the bases are set up, because they are next to each other, this would have been so much more difficult to defend if you had 2 queens on the right, 2 queens on the left, and you had the adepts and oracles going to different bases. That would have made things a lot more difficult, but because all the bases are close together, you can see even the 4 queens working together to take out the oracle.
Yeah, exactly. Suddenly, you know, the infamous oracles and adepts of Hero, they haven't found too much damage at all yet, but the oracles are still alive. You know, they still can regenerate their shields and look to dive it back in. No Spore here at the 3rd base. Solar's fully aware of that. He does pull back his drones. His queens are in position and he will not lose anything.
Yeah, Solar's gotten away with just making the 2 drones here, so this is, I mean, when you watch ZVP at this level, they do try to cut any corner that they can, and just 1 spawn might not seem like a big thing, but it sounds like something that players at this level do worry about quite a bit, and it's nice that he's been able to do that here.
Yeah, it can be a lot of resources to invest, and here we go, the oracles are diving on in. It looks like there's not enough engine for a transfuse. 1 queen goes down.
Yeah, 1 queen, 2 queens. 2 queens going to be going down for just 1 oracle. He gets 2 drones as well, so very nice micro coming out from Hero. Sends back 1 of the oracles as well just to get a bit more damage. 5 drones going down in total, so beautiful stuff from Hero.
Yeah, 5 workers, 2 queens for 1 oracle, well worth it. That was a really crisp recall as well on that 1 oracle. It was actually trapped.
Yeah,
it would have gone
nice.
down if the queens had gotten there in time, so that was really slick.
Yeah, very tidy stuff coming out from Hero. So now we're going to be seeing this little adept move out. I think this is mostly just a clear creep. I've been seeing max packs do this quite a lot.
Yeah, exactly. With these oracles, with the revelations, you can stay on top of creep thread really early on with these depths, and you can even threaten shades into mineral lines. I would have said that if the 3rd oracle didn't die, but because it did, then it's unlikely that Hero would go into a mineral line.
This, yeah, they have speed. Yeah, so Hero's doing a really good job just keeping all of this creep spread kept at bay, but oh, this is a good surround for Solar. He will be able to take out a couple of the adepts. That's not bad at all. Just makes this little pressure a little less scary for him, and we do have very standard play coming out from Hero. This is the style he's popularized with the blink with the +1 as well as that very fast 4th, and he's gotten away with, I believe it's just a 4th off only 4 gates, so he's been able to cut some corners here. Yeah,
exactly. Very few gateways overall. The oracles and the Eps doing a lot for him to take this very fast 4th, almost as quick as the 4th of Solar. Meanwhile, Solar, he is actually making a massive wave of links. +1 melee is about to kick in, and Solar has cut workers here at 64, just going pure ling and no roaches.
Yeah, so this has become the popular response to this style of play, is for the Zerg to rush into some early melee upgrades, but the pushes are already here from Hero. Hero's just playing such a clean game.
Yeah, exactly. Stage traps are set up. Nice trigger on one of those traps. A nice trigger on the 2nd trap as well, but the Lings rush forward and, ooh, not really anticipating the 3rd one as the Lings coming from behind, but they're only coming in from one side.
Yeah, they are. So Hero's going to be taking some relatively efficient trades here. Does blink out to protect those weakened stalkers as well. So, and there's a reason that Hero is so tidy with this build. He's been doing it for so long. He is a bit of a pioneer of this as well, and you can see his expertise.
Yeah, exactly, and he's still just looking so good with it. Lings are coming in from behind, but shout to Hero as well. He's actually been remaking his oracle, so he has plenty of energy to work with, but we get a full surround.
Yeah, he lost an oracle and he still has 4, so he is really heavily emphasizing this oracle player, and some of these stalkers are starting to go down. That was a beautiful surround that came out from Solar, and it's going to be able to push Hero back, but Solar hasn't droned in a little while.
Yeah, exactly. He's been stuck at 64 workers for a long time to facilitate for all these Lings, and unfortunately he would have loved to have cleaned up all the stalkers. He got some of them, don't get me wrong, as you mentioned, but he didn't get all of them, and now Oh, the Lings are going for a counterattack at the same time. This fourth base is looking a little bit exposed.
Yeah, here it is continuing to have as much map presence as possible. The first few Banelings are going to be coming out here, and this is a very heavy commitment into getting this hatchery. He is going to be able to get it, and we do have a recall, so he's going to be able to save some of these Stalkers. That's actually a pretty good outcome in the end.
Yeah, he gets the hatchery, knocks Solo down to only 3 bases, bearing in mind that he didn't have the best economy to begin with either. The Lings go for a counterattack, but there are reinforcements back at home. There are oracles as well. These Lings are being cleaned up.
Yeah, top stuff here from Hero, and Solo's going to be going for a very heavy counter attack, so it's going to be important for him to try to get a little bit of counter damage here, and I think he will.
Yeah, Shield Battery is going to be going down. The Warpin is going to be coming in time. This does force a massive reaction out of the army of Hero. Meanwhile, Hero is pulling a Serral. He's taking one of Solo's spaces. Top right is sneakily being taken by Hero as we speak. Solo does not have eyes on that.
Yeah, okay. Hatchery at the front is going to be going down here. And wow, yeah, that's a really cheeky top right base. But I love the confidence as well. With a couple batteries and cannons there, I mean, that's not really going to be dislodged. And it's going to be a great spring point from any pushes. But that's if we're going to be getting that far, because these Zealots, they are massacring the Zealots. Huge stasis traps going off as well. And it looks like Hero has just won the game right here, right now.
Yeah, with no defensive Banelings ready for this push, Solar had nothing to defend. The Banelings, they finish up now, but a little bit too little too late as Hero has broken on through behind this. The Zealots eviscerate the mineral lines. It looks like we did have a Baneling run by across the map, and it looks like damage was done. But hey, Hero, he's got a 5th base. He doesn't really care too much about losing some workers here and there. This main army is still looking unstoppable.
Yeah, and Hero also, he's made a bunch of sentries. This is great. I feel like we've had a lot of games recently where we've looked at a PvZ and we've noticed that there's no Ravagers and we've gone, man, if there were a few sentries here, this game would be absolutely over. Hero's got the killer instinct. He makes a whole bunch of sentries now and he's going to be able to cut this army up.
Yeah, the Banelings just try to roll on in. They try to connect with the Banelings, sorry, with the sentries, but it looks like they will not. GG gets called and Hero will take game number 1.
GG, an absolute masterclass of the hero style, and we get another win.
Well, we get the first win for DKZ Gaming. To be fair, you know, Oliveira, he was struggling a little bit against Maru, but Hero is fighting back here for his team.
Oh yeah,
and is going to be looking to take the second game here to tie things up. And yeah, that was pretty terrifying. Solar, he was actually rushing into a hive behind it. I don't know if you saw, he threw that infestation bit. He was going Ling Bane into Hive Tech into Ultras. And that's something that we've been seeing a lot of recently as well. Dark, he's been doing it a lot. Even Serral has been whipping it out whenever he can. But to be a little bit critical, that's something that you usually do on one of the larger maps, just because you do need a lot more freedom, a lot more breathing room to tech up that heavily. We saw how quickly things went sour for Solo there as soon as Hero's aggression got a bit out of hand. Solo couldn't get away with taking up like that.
Yeah, I feel like, I don't know. I liked the ideas from Solo, but maybe as well, that kind of strategy might be better on, a map like this, because as well as being bigger, it does have more open areas to set up those crazy link surrounds as well, because he was really all over that. But we're going to give Hero props for his use of stasis traps, as always. Saved him from a lot of tough spots. So
yeah, the stasis traps, the continued Oracle production, which is very unique to Hero as well. I think there are times where sometimes we are critical of the Protoss player for not remaking the Oracles if they lose them in the early game. But here he is, the man himself, in the top right-hand corner for DKZ Gaming. It is Hero.
And in the bottom left-hand corner of the map for Onsyde Gaming, this is Solar.
Boy, it just felt like Hero was doing everything right that last game. You know, rebuilding his oracles to support his army, like recognizing that his opponent was just making nothing but pure Ling, and just having such good support for it.
Wait, it's not a Nexus first.
Oh.
Interesting. So, Hero's going for I believe this is a delayed gateway. He just wanted to prioritize chronoing out workers. So, this is a little bit more on the greedy side, but I love this as a gamble just for altitude.
Yeah, definitely. I think we speak about it a lot when it comes to Solar, but he's usually not too much of an aggressive player in the early game, regardless of the matchup. Maybe a little bit in ZVZ, but mostly like he's a little bit more chill. So Hero, he's going to be able to be a little bit more greedy as a result.
Yeah, okay, that was nice. And with that, he is going to be able to, just kickstart that economy a little bit more. It is something that we see a lot with Hero as well. I noticed from watching a few of his replays that out of most of the Protosses, he's the one that is most likely to chrono boost probes like a lot in the early game, whereas a lot of the other Protosses will kind of save that chrono to be extra safe, maybe chrono out some units and stuff like that. Hero really likes to be extra greedy.
Yeah. Not just when it comes to chronoing out his workers, but I think we saw a little bit of it last game as well when it comes to his expansions. Like he expands like a Zerg player. I think we've been noticing that quite a lot from him. Like he is just not afraid at all, or he's so confident in his ability to keep his opponent's attention across the map and be able to sneak out these bases.
Yeah, and okay, we are going to be doing this with a Stargate build once again, of course, without the scout. Not going to be blocking, so it does make sense, especially on a bigger map like this.
Yeah, definitely. So standard Stargate opener here from a Hero. Meanwhile, Solar across the map was uninterrupted as well. You mentioned that Hero didn't go for a probe scout, so he was being a little bit more greedy in that sense as well. And Solar, he's just going to be scouting around, taking control of the Xel'Nagas and making sure that nothing crazy is going on.
Yeah, I just want to point out as well, you can see both Nexuses are chronoed here. This is something that's kind of unusual to do even with a scout. It's crazy that he's... I don't want to say gambling, because I know that a lot of these Korean players as well, they do like to metagame quite heavily, and I think he'll have his own reasons for assuming that Solar's not going to be doing anything cheesy. But this is crazy. Like, he's spending every chrono on probes. He just made the one adept, and he's not scouting at all with it. Like, this is some very heavy metagaming coming out from Hero.
Yeah, definitely. It is a bit of a gamble. It can be risky even. Maybe that's a more acceptable word to use. But regardless, with that, he's going to be looking to get away and cut some corners. And it looks like he should be able to. His first Oracle does come out. Solar is able to confirm the opener now with the revelation of said Oracle. And he should be losing this Overlord.
Yeah, and there we go. We do have that early third going down as well. So, yeah, Hero is just completely committing to the fact that he thinks he can cut a few corners here. Meanwhile, Solar back at home, he is having to take all the necessary precautions for Oracles.
Yeah, we have spores on the way. Queens are coming out as well. As you were saying, Hero could even take this space without too much to defend it. Either the Adepts weren't even in position, the Oracles are moving out, and Solar just doesn't have that many Lings available anyway to threaten this space, as we now have the warping of the additional 2 Adepts, and now Hero can focus on his aggression.
Yeah, looks like Hero once again wants to put on some pressure with the Adepts and the Oracles, so he can keep that creep back a little bit, force some Lings out of the Zerg player as well.
Yeah, there we go. 14 Lings are on the way. We do have the Lings across the map threatening that pylon. They do actually force the activation of the Pulsar Beam. Meanwhile, the Adepts do commit to the Shade.
Oh. Yeah, this is a pretty wild Shade. Good reactions from Solar, maybe a little bit fortunate that the Lings popped out at the exact right time, but I think he... time that out for those Adepts, and now Hero's looking a little bit bare back at home.
Yeah, exactly. That's all of his Adepts now gone at this point. There's only 2 left out here on the map, but they're going to be caught out as well from these Lings. So, again, very fortunate here from Solar. Again, very well timed with his own Ling aggression. Looks like the Adepts will make it back home in time, though, and we do have a cannon on the way to keep this base safe and sound.
Yeah, okay, so Hero going to be defending by the skin of his teeth, and yeah, this is one of the things as well with Hero that it's kind of funny, because you think of him as such an aggressive player, but a lot of what makes his play work so well is he cuts these huge amounts of corners where he's not making many units. He's kind of sending everything across the map as well. He is cutting corners in his early game build too, and because he's such a good player, he can get away with it. But this is the sort of thing that, if you weren't Hero and you copied this and you didn't put on that kind of pressure, you probably just died at just about anything.
100%. And speaking of, Hero is crazy. He's doing something very wild. We have +1 air attack on the way, and as we're getting Blink and +1, which we aren't skipping, we are going into Sky Toss.
Yeah, we've seen this before. Do you remember Hero vs Ragnarok on this map?
Yeah, always. It's not the only time. I remember Hero versus Dark on this map as well from like a month ago. It's one of those things where Hero, even though he's known for his aggression and even though he's like very greedy and he can be very active on the map with his army, he's got great micro. If he sees an opportunity, he will transition and he will go Sky Toss.
Yeah, I mean, on this map and on Near Humanity, I think it makes a lot of sense for different reasons. But yeah, I do think playing a totally standard game versus Zerg on this map is a pretty crazy choice. But this kind of play that he's going for here, it's very difficult for Zerg to punish for the same reasons.
It really is, and I'm salivating right now because Hero, he late games like no other, as you remember. He has such an active style of Sky Toss, more so than any other player I've seen, to be honest, and I've seen my fair share of Sky Toss, papi. For Hero to utilize the Mothership to use recalls to counterattack across map instead of using them defensively or go for like this all-in to dive into our main base, it's something that for whatever reason we don't really see other players use.
Because it's hard.
Because it's a skill issue, Papi. They can't do it, Papi. They can't. Oh. I mean,
it's kind of like, well, it's like when Maru chooses to go into TVP late game. Like no one else does it because it's just, it's really hard.
Yeah.
And it's just these like top tier players that are confident in such a difficult situations and will willingly go into them. As we do see Solar putting some pressure on these Stalkers need to drop back to the wall, and they're going to be able to do that, but this means the carriers are going to be revealed now.
Yeah, the carriers are revealed. The Roach Ravager has to turn back around. Oh, sorry, the Roach Ling even, and this is a little bit brutal here for Solar because he was committing quite heavily into this push, and now he has to turn back around. These resources could have been spent elsewhere in tech, and we are teching up. We're going towards that Spire.
Yeah, Solar threw that Spire down instantly. The second that those carriers showed, it was down.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, again, it was a little bit fortunate of him to spot these carriers early on. There's only 4 of them for the time being. We are getting into that Mothership as we speak. Minus 400, minus 400 already.
Yeah, it's a very early Mothership, and I think what's happening here is Hero realizes, because he's shown carriers, that the most likely thing for Dark to do is kind of turtle up and, you know, do that whole skip to the late game thing where he's going to get those air upgrades, he's going to sit back defensively, wait till he's got the perfect army. And Hero might have a window here where if he can recall into the main or something like that, he could just end the game by attacking from a weird angle.
100%. I do think that he wants to hit now more than ever, just to try to catch Solo before he's really ready for Sky Toss. I mean, the Spire is just about to finish up, and even if it does finish, he doesn't have any upgrades for his Corruptors either. He doesn't have a Spore Forest, so there is a window here that Hero can abuse.
Yeah, but meanwhile, Solar does have a Bane Run by setup on the right here. It is going to be coming in past all these cannons, and these probes don't really have anywhere to run, but every single Baneling goes down. Great movement by Hero with the carriers.
Oh, at the same time, Lings are catching some of these Stalkers in the middle of the map as well. 3-4 Stalkers do go down, so good pickoffs overall. Even though Solar didn't get the economic damage done that he wanted, he was able to capitalize on at least trading with the army.
I'll be right back, sorry.
All good, all good. Oh, as from here, Solar, he's just getting into his Corruptor count as we speak. Looking at the units tab, 11 Corruptors already, soon to be 15. But we're still lacking those upgrades we were saying earlier. +1 air carapace is on the way. No, not quite too many spores here to support this army. And where is that Mothership? It's going to be joining the main army. So we were a little bit vague about it earlier, but how Hero typically plays late game, or how he at least showed us in the past, was to be hyper aggressive with his pushes and teleport across the map with recall, not defensively but aggressively instead, just from end to end, just to keep the pressure up to go from left to right and pull apart the Zerg player. We do see another Baneling run by 7 probes do go down, so Hero's been struggling a little bit here to keep up with all of the aggression, to keep up with these run bys. And again, this is keeping him at home. This is giving Solar enough time to rebuild and spread that creep. As the creep is being spread all the way towards the other side of the map, we do have Solar now trying to threaten the main army. Has a lot of Ling Bane on the ground. He wants to get rid of all these roaches as well. They are dead supply. He needs to trade in some way, shape, or form. He's going to be hitting that fourth base is now under threat. Oh, we do see Hero completely out of position. The Ling Roach getting into the mid line. The Banings, they roll into Archons of all things. Not a good trade for Solar. He does take down the mothership, but at what cost? So many corruptors go down. Oh, did get the mineral line though. 26 probes fell in the midst of that engagement. Looking at the unit loss tab here, 10 corruptors took down one of those motherships. But Hero's main army is still looking very terrifying, still looking very strong as he's pushing on through. There's only 5 corruptors to defend back at home. Again, there is no Spore Forest. We have Queens for Transfuse, but is that going to be enough? Hero, he's committed. He is all in. He is not making any probes at all. The game will end with this push one way or another. Now Solar is going to try and dive on in. We activate the prismatic alignment on these Void Rays. Oh, there are not enough corruptors. The carriers, they're surviving. None of them are going down, and Solar's army is crumbling. There's just too much in the air, too much on the ground. Oh. No. No! The barcode! Ah, I think that's one of the Chinese casters. Ah, now is not the time. But as we can see, there we go, it is F91. One of the other Chinese casters. But as we can see, like, Solar has a good economy. He crippled the economy of Hero. He took down so many workers. He forced the all-in. But Solar wasn't ready for it. He threw away 10 corruptors to kill one mothership. He had nothing remaining, and that's why this counterattack is so potent. That's why it's so effective. That's why Hero is rolling over everything that Solar has. We can see Hero has almost double the army supply compared to Solar. He's got 4 corruptors on the way. You could argue that he has a little bit of time, but the problem is that Solar, he just tried to defend with his entire army, with queens, with corruptors, with everything, and he lost it all. Oof. And now the timeout is going to happen in a couple of seconds. The game will continue.
Game paused.
You have a bit of a pause just to make sure that everyone is ready. And we'll see if Solar can make a miracle happen. Can Solar somehow fight? No. Fight back. GG gets called. And Hero takes the series 2-0. GG, well played. Oh, as Asher comes back, you just missed the grand finale of that game. Hero did take it in the end. You're muted, Papi.
I didn't even realize I muted. All right, awesome. So, yeah, here we're going to be taking the 2-0, and that means we do have things tied up 2-2 between these two powerhouses, and it's all going to come down to the third set here.
Yeah, we are tied up. It all comes down to this one final best of 2. Whether this goes 1-1 and forces the ace match, or it goes 2-0 in a certain direction, it's going to be Ryung versus Dark.
All right, so Dark's certainly the favored player here, but Ryung more than capable of taking at least one game here. So if he's able to do that, we'll be seeing the ace match.
Oh yeah, exactly. And look, I bring this up all the time, but Asher, we've seen Ryung. We've seen him at like 100%. We've seen him take down Dark even in a best of 3 series. Like, take him down like he was nothing. We know he has it in him.
He 2-0'd him, yeah.
He 2-0'd him, Papi. He was Ryungjwa that
like,
day.
Relatively standard play too.
Yeah, it was crazy what he was able to whip out in that series. It was now last year, I think. I think it was like last year, November or something. It's been quite some time.
No, we're still riding that high.
We are.
We're still riding that high.
I'm never going to forget it. It's like 40 years from now, you know, I'm going to remember Ryungjwa up against Dark, and I want to see that again. I know he has it in him. I know he can take a game, but am I on some solid copium, Asher?
Oh, I just realized that we're on a delay.
We are.
Took me till now to realize.
Yeah, a delay.
Yeah, you're coping. Big cope. Big cope.
That's what I wanted to hear, Papi. That's what I wanted to hear.
Betting on a Zerg to beat a Terran, you're crazy.
A Terran to beat a Zerg, you mean? Yeah, Ryung. Look, I believe. I've seen him do it before. I know we can do it again. But I think he needs to revert to his old ways. I don't know if you remember this, Asher, but Ryung, he used to be on Team GP.
Okay.
Yeah. You know what I'm
So
saying.
if we lure Dark into a bit of a false sense of security. Then we have the snipe building game too.
There you go, there you go. We want to lure him into game one. You want to make it look as easy as possible. You want to make it look like, you know, there's no reason to fear, no reason to have any care in the world. And then bam, game two. Ryung takes the puppy.
Honeypot.
Yeah. Gonna catfish him. Oh.
That's like the opposite of catfishing. As spawning here in the bottom right hand corner of the map, he is powerful, poderoso.
Oh.
He is playing for DKZ. This is Dark.
And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Babylon, we have the South Korean Terran player representing Onsyde Gaming. It is Ryung. Oh boy, and Dark. We can't see him, unfortunately. We don't have the technology. We don't have the cameras, but I'd like to think that he's getting his harness ready. He's you know, working the shafts. He's getting ready, Pop. He's getting ready. Have you got a harness ready?
Really wanted to find a way to bring it up. Aye.
Tie me up, Poppy. Tie me up. Tie
me up. Ryung misclick. It's over.
Oh god. But yeah, coming into this, obviously Ryung is, you know, not as accomplished as Dark or Hero or some of these other players on these two teams. He's maybe a bit of a weak link in Onsyde Gaming, but he has shown us time and time again that he can definitely go toe-to-toe with the best of the best in the world. We've seen him take down Dark. I remember casting with Yaku the Kung Fu Cup a couple of weeks ago, and Ryung even took down Hero as well, 2-0 in a TVP. So I know he has it within him. It's just, you know, everything has to be going right for him. He has to be solid on the day, and he can punch up and go toe-to-toe with the best of them.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. And sometimes for Ryung, it does feel like a bit of a confidence thing where if he trusts himself to just play his game and play a very standard macro game and bring it into a bit of a later stage where his incredible game sense and ability to read where he's at in a game and where the units are as well can kick in. I think that's where he does his best work.
100%. And hopefully he has the confidence he needs to take down his opponent, as he's going to be delaying the third base here of Dark, but we do get the morph on that gas geyser. It looks like that will keep that drone alive. Will be delayed though by quite a bit.
You look at the classic Dark 6 Lings coming out, and if that Reaper does stay back, he can just send these Lings across the map. It looks like Dark wants to threaten that, wants to make it look a little bit scary for Ryung, but Ryung's doing a really good job just keeping this Reaper on this third here, and Dark is just going to be staying on two bases for the moment. He actually throws down a second gas. Interesting. Oh no, wait, that's his that's his gas trick.
He's
I was
crazy,
like, oh,
Pop.
is he going to do like some... Well, I thought he was going to do like a Nidish response or something, and I'd be like, oh, that's sick.
Yeah.
No, he is just trying to get this third up. It is delayed quite heavily, so great job from Ryung. Gets a little mental victory to start things off.
Yeah, definitely. Didn't even phase or bat an eye to the Lings as they were maybe threatening a run by, but no, Dark kept them at home. Ryung had eyes on this as well. Now the Reaper will turn back around in time to defend against that Lings, but Link Speed kicks in.
Oh, yeah, so Dark, he didn't pull off gas at all. He does use this little delay to mine some extra gas and gets the early link speed, and Ryung was not expecting that.
Yeah, exactly. And two SCVs on low ground are going to be going down. We do have the Hellion, so we're going to be able to fend these off, but two SCV kills are good counter damage here from Dark, kind of reciprocating that damage after such a delayed third.
Yeah, 100%. I would even say that this might tie it up, but Dark, he is staying on gas as well, so potentially going to be seeing, could be an early lair or maybe some kind of roach attack coming out from him, as he is taking all of his gas, or at least 3 gases. This seems quite aggressive.
Oh yeah, very aggressive indeed. And after Ryung lost his initial Reaper, he's going to be in the dark a little bit longer. He does have a couple of Hellions to be active on the map. He does confirm the timing of the third base, does confirm that it has finished and it wasn't cancelled or anything crazy like that, but he hasn't got eyes on the natural. Not yet, as Ryung is going for a 3cc Banshee.
Yeah, going to be going for this no cloak style as well that has been quite popular recently
Oh.
too. Into the Raven. Oh, cool. Okay, yeah, I've seen Maru been doing this a little bit. This is a nice little variation. Kind of reminds me of the old innovation builds where he would skip out on that cloak. So we are going to be saving a little bit of gas. Pretty similar build times, but this is just it's something to throw the Zergs off. It's a bit odd.
Yeah, it's very odd, and we'll see how much damage you can get done as the Banshee almost goes down to the Queens. A lot of hull damage dealt already. The Banshee doesn't do any damage whatsoever. At the same time, Hellions are looking for an opening, but no, they don't quite make it into the natural either. Lings were ready and waiting for them as well.
Okay, so I'm really interested to see what Dark has planned with these roaches. It being Dark, it could be absolutely anything. He has all sorts of crazy stuff that he likes to do. It could be even some kind of weird, like, Nidus-based attack. It could be 1-1 Roach all in, or it could be more like what we've seen Serral doing, where the Roaches are just a bit of a vehicle to get into the late game.
Yeah, I'm really curious because we're getting double Eva chambers for 1-1. The Roaches have now been revealed to Ryung. He's fully aware of the army composition of his opponent. He even catches the Lings on the right-hand side as well. So some great scouting. He's going to be able to be mentally, physically prepared as well for what Dark is up to. And with those Eva chambers, I imagine he's going to be going for a later timing with set upgrades.
Yeah, okay, there we go. So melee gets started up, and that does indicate that he is going to go for more of that Lingbane Roach Rav style. Probably an early Hive with this as well.
Yeah, we have the infestation bit on the way. Before we can get into Lingbane, we may even get a couple of infestors as well, just to keep Dark safe and help support the Roach Ravager before we do get into that Hive tech. So yeah, Dark is going to be looking for a later game.
Yeah, that's been how Serral's been playing it. He's been getting, I think it's always 2 infestors that he gets. It's always 2.
And he doesn't always have to use them, but he has them, just in case there's like an early push, an early timing where he will need the support of said infestors. And speaking of, there we go, the infestors are on the way.
Yeah, okay, so we have those 2 infestors just starting up now. Hive's going to be on the way as well, so looks like, yeah, he just wants to sort of batten down the hatches. He will be extremely safe from anything that Ryung can do with these roaches, and I do think this is a really cool way to play. If you do favor yourself as the better player in the late game, it's very hard to force any damage when there's so many roaches on the ground, and you can see that Ryung is respecting this quite a lot as well. He's not really gone for his early 1-1 push yet.
Yeah, exactly. He's just staying at home. Instead, 1-1 is about to kick in, but for the most part, his Marines, his tanks are at home. He's going to be going for drop play instead, just to harass, just to try to keep an eye on the base count. Meanwhile, oh, that one Banshee almost does go down the middle of the map as well, as Dark is rushing into that hive.
Yeah, Hive's on the way, so no Pathogen Glands either. I think it will just be the 2 infestors, so very similar to how we've been seeing Serral play lately. And from here, there are a few things we can see. We could see some early Ultras for sure. It might just be Vipers and wanting to stay on Lingbane Ravager, so we'll have to wait and see what he wants to do with this.
Yeah, if I know my Dark, it may just be those Ultras, but there we go. Vipers are on the way once again to help support his army, to add a little bit of anti-air, parasitic bombs on the drops, even Yoinks as well, to make sure he can have some form of anti-air available to him. Meanwhile, the drop play from Ryung hasn't been able to do too much here. Ooh, he does spot those infestors. Ooh.
Now, this is where I wonder if he's going to go full Serral and get the early Niduses and take the side bases.
I don't think Dark is going to go that far, but I would love to see it. As Dark is going into 2-2 from here, has a bathing speed finishing up as well. No major tech paths yet utilizing this hive. No Ultra Cavern or even, something like a Hydrogen into a Lurker Den or anything like that. So just Lingbane, Roach Ravager.
Oh, wow. And Ryung hasn't thrown down a 4cc. So it looks like Ryung was very heavily relying on trying to hard counter a 1-1 Roach all-in, and that isn't what's come his way. So he's actually in a pretty all-in position now.
Yeah, no base behind this. I mean, Ryung has maxed out. He has a pretty terrifying army, but he's going to be pushing into infestors. He's going to be pushing into fungals as well as those vipers as well, which are topped up on energy. So we'll see how well he can pull this off as he does now push out. Oh,
I just had the weirdest brain moment. I'll explain it in a sec. But anyway, this is a pretty good fight. 2 of those infestors do go down. We see some big fungals, but just 2 infestors, sometimes not enough fungals to be able to take out the medevac healing. And wow, a lot of the Banelings going down as well. This is getting really scary for Dark. I actually think that Ryung's found a wonderful timing here and maybe caught Dark being a little bit greedy, cutting those corners, not making those extra infestors and respecting this push.
Yeah, the concave was a little bit too good. The Banelings barely get any connections, and Ryung is going to be able to break on through into the third base. The 2-2 Evo chambers are exposed as well. The infestors, Vipers trying desperately to gather that energy.
Yeah, the Marauder 8 racks from Ryung. This is such a sick response, and he's just going to be continuing to rally across the map. We do have a swell of Banelings coming in for Dark, and this might be enough to take out the firepower of the army of Ryung and overwhelm with Roaches.
But here come the reinforcements. The tanks will be going down. We have Roach Ravager remaining here for Dark, but there are no Banelings, and it's not going to be enough to hold off against Ryung.
Yeah, Ryung charges on ARP. He does still have enough Marines to deal with a flood of Lings as well. He's getting on top of the Ravagers. The Ravagers are going down. That is huge.
Yeah, the pickoffs have been insane. Plus, 2 Carapace did finish up for Dark, but the Evo Chambers are going to be hunted down. We have Ultras on the way. At least they have those upgrades going for them, but they don't have speed. I believe they do not have Chitinous Plating.
The biggest thing as well here with the Ultras is the creep has been completely receded. If Ryung runs away from these Ultras, he will be off creep really quickly, and that means that they're not actually that scary, and already one of the Ultras is going down. He doesn't have the upgrades for these, of course, so if there's enough Marauders left over, these Ultras are going to go down very quickly, and it looks like Ryung is going to be able to stay here.
Yeah, exactly. Here we go. Liberators are showing up to reinforce as well. There is no answer to them. There are Vipers, and there we go. They're going for the Parasitic Bombs because that's all he can really do against them.
Yeah, and here we go. Dark, he has to pull the trigger. He has to try to defend his bases. He is cut off from his southern base, so he's effectively on pretty much 2 base mining. The Ultras, they're just really having trouble finding a good angle here. Ryung's set up so well.
Yeah, he really is. Now the Marauders are stimming on forward as well, looking to threaten those Vipers. Here we go. The entire army is going to be coming on in. We do have 3 of those Ultras, 4 even.
Yeah, but the bulk of the army, all the Lings, everything here are being taken out. The Vipers just used up that energy disabling that tank, and they didn't get what they were looking for. The tank is still alive. The Ultras are going down. It looks like Ryung's done it. GG.
GG, well played. The 8 racks of Ryung. We were concerned. We're like, Papi, he's going to be all in. He's like, hey, Papi. It was all a part of the plan. As you were saying, Dark caught a bit with his pants down. Didn't quite have enough. Wasn't really expecting that massive push through the center of the map. And GG.
That was really cool. That's not really something I've seen that much before, and I wonder if Ryung specifically prepared that for the way that Dark played, because it makes a lot of sense. I mean, this is something that I kind of thought he was trying to counter a 1-1 Roach, and I think it would have done pretty well against that as well, but you can see that he hit right at this window where it was like 30 seconds, a minute or so before the Ultras kicked in, before the Ultra upgrades were available. He found the gap here where he just could commit a little bit more than usual into the aggression. Yeah,
exactly. It was a bit of an anti-timing for Dark, right? It's like the Ultras were on the way, but they had 1-1 at the time even. You know, there's a world out there where even +2 Carapace would have been denied as well. So very well orchestrated there from Ryung. It does put a point on the board, is now 1 game away from taking this series for his team for Onsyde Gaming.
Okay, so the thing that really confused me is I saw a Raven push, which doesn't normally happen in TBZ, and I saw Infestors. So I was expecting the Infestors to feed back the Raven.
Oh, it's okay, Papi. It's okay. It's fine.
PvP.
Yeah,
here we go. Spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of the map for DKZ. Having to fight now to go 1-1 and bring them up to the ace match. This is Dark.
I like where your head's at, though. I do agree that Infestors need EMP. Spawning in the top right-hand corner of Altitude, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Terran representing Onsyde Gaming. He is the Tuna Terran himself, Dongwon. Taking game 1 game away from winning this series for his team. It is Ryung.
Okay.
See, and this is why, mate, you Look, if you say that Ryung is gonna pop off every time, it's gonna happen at least once, and you're correct. And that's what that's what I was banking on, Papian. He's taking game one. Go ahead.
I do think as well that it was a little bit of a bad fight from Dark as well.
Yeah,
I mean, he lost his Infestor quite cheaply at the start. I feel like with 2 Infestors, you have to be like completely in or completely out as well.
Yep, 100%.
I feel like he maybe underestimated the strength of Ryung here a little bit.
Yeah, I'm telling. It's the Team GP maneuver, Papi. It's this is the advanced Team GP maneuver where you actually lull them into It's crazy. You don't even go for the 1-1.
For your entire career underperform and then you 2-0 them.
That's what I was about to say. Where you lure them in before the games, leading up to it months in advance, and then bam, it pays off. Oh.
He's like paying the WTL admins to dock points from him from his rating.
Exactly. Like, Papi, you're at
He's
least
just like messaging before each week, and they're like, he's like, man, my micro's been so bad lately. Like, I feel like I'm a 6 in micro lately. I'm just not myself.
I'm just a D player, Papi. I'm just a D tier player. I don't know what to say. I lost the crank in customs, Papi. And yeah, now as a result, as you were saying, Dark is up against the wall, does go for a hatch gas pool open, everything's looking quite standard, but Ryung is doing his best job at just being a little bit annoying, but in the end, third base is eventually taken on altitude.
Yeah, Dark gets his third a lot earlier this time. It was delayed very heavily that last game, and maybe that threw him off a little bit, but we are going to be seeing... Oh, okay, the way that this Rax is positioned, I think it's going to be... Okay, no, not another factory. I thought we were going to see another factory. Sometimes people position their Rax like this when they're going for 2 factory opening, but Ryung just, being a little bit tricky, being a bit sneaky, making use of just how big this main is to just kind of arbitrarily deny information from Dark, keep him just a little bit confused about what's going on.
Honestly, I think this is really smart as well. I do think that the scariest thing is when your opponent tries as hard as possible to like deny scouting, and he does, and they're not doing anything crazy.
He plays normal.
Yeah, they just play normal. They just play standard, and just in the back of your mind, you're just like second guessing yourself. You're metagaming yourself as well. They're just living rent free inside you, and yeah, I think it's really smart.
Yeah, it does look like for now it's going to be a pretty similar build coming out from Ryung. Actually, exactly the same so far.
Yeah, 3cc Banshee coming out from Ryung. Meanwhile, I guess we didn't really get to mention it, but of course this was Dark's map pick, and as Zerg players typically do, especially in this matchup, it is of course Altitude, a map where he's going to have a little bit more freedom given to him. The likelihood of something like an ARAX working on Altitude is going to be that much lower as well.
Yeah, I do think on Altitude as well, Dark's a lot less likely to play that Roach style. Even a player such as him who really likes those Roach styles and plays them quite heavily, Altitude just lends itself so well to Lingbane, and we do often see even players like Cham that really like to play Roach heavy will opt instead for Lingbane on this map.
100%. There are just so many avenues of attack, so much surround potential as well. You can be so active, you can go for all these run bys, so I imagine Dark is going to be relying on that, as well as Dark is going to be taking on up into his lair, into his Baleen nest. Hellions are looking to at least chip away at this fourth base.
Ryung just being a little bit annoying, trying to drag Queens out of position where he can. Should be looking to clear up a little bit of this creep where he can as well, but... Oh, we have a Link Scout coming in. Doesn't quite catch what's going on, and yep, it is going to be mech. Kind of come to be expected on this map. I do think that Bio is a bit of a losing battle on this map.
Yeah, you have to be really confident in your ability to play Bio on Altitude, and it does happen from time to time, but Ryung is going to be going for that mech. He is one of those few players that is willing to do this. I believe the last time we saw Ryung on Altitude against a Zerg player was with mech as well, and he's going to be going for that newer style. He's going to be committing into Banshee speed.
Yeah, so just a 3cc Banshee into mech. This is what the god himself, DA God, likes to go for, so I do like this build.
Yeah, you know, it is well known here that Ryung has been to Brazil, and he did get Diego into a rear naked chokehold.
Oh, fala galera. I don't know what that means.
Fala galera, Bobby. Fala, let's go, Bobby. Let's go. I couldn't have said it better myself. As we have, of course, we have Hyperflight rotors alongside Macfield accelerators on the way here for Ryung. Dark hasn't seen too much yet. So he's still going to be looking to piece together, but upon seeing all these Hellions, he can maybe read. Maybe there are more than there should be, and he hasn't quite seen too much else on the map as he does send out those links and changelings.
Yeah, a little bit sus. And Dark will be, continuing to send out those single links. This is something that we saw. I didn't really get a chance to say it, but Solo was doing it so well in that game against Hero, just sending out single links constantly to keep an eye on what was going on. But here we go. We are going to be seeing this first push coming out. That is a lot of Hellions, a lot of Banshees as well, with speed about to kick in. Ryung has very heavily favored his unit production here. I think he hasn't dropped an armory yet.
Oh, yeah, exactly. No armory at all. So the Hellions are pushing on forward. The Banshees are going to focus down as many of these queens as they can. For the time being, they are going to be pushed back. There is Ling Bane behind this, looking to try and catch any of these Hellions if they do try to dive in.
Yeah, Ryung basically spending all his money on units at this point. So this is a very aggressive, active way to play this out.
Yeah, and we'll see if it does kind of pay for itself. We do see the Banshees split off to try to pick up whatever creep tumors they can. Meanwhile, Dark is rushing into that hive. He's already got Hydra, so Ling Bane, Hydra into Viper can work quite well against this, as now Dark is fully aware of what's going on.
Yeah, do you remember players like Lambo were saying that this is kind of the new way to deal with this with Viper, Hydra, and I could definitely see it being effective, especially those Cyclones. Once you yoink them and you pull them in, they're extremely fragile. They kind of rely on kiting.
Exactly, and Dark is headed towards that kind of unit composition. Before that happens, though, Blue Flame is going to be kicking in, and Ryung is going to be looking to try and lay siege upon that fourth, but my god, there's just so much waiting for him. Pushing into creep is just not going to be an option.
Yeah, I don't love this for Ryung. He doesn't really have a backbone to his army. He has a very good skirmishing and trading army, but Dark doesn't really have to play that game with him.
Exactly. Dark is just waiting for his opponent to push into him. What I will say is that Ryung has done a great job at just keeping the creep at bay. The creep is just connecting bases, and that is it. It's barely getting out onto the map. So Ryung has a little freedom for the time being, at least until Dark refines his army, and then he's finally going to be a little bit more active on the map.
We have the random Raven. Twitch chat rejoice. He's going to save so much money on scans.
Yeah.
Apparently that's really important.
You don't understand, Papi. I mean, Zerg, as opposed to popular belief, doesn't have feedback. So, what are they going to do? What are they going to do?
I mean, Hydras are pretty good. But we do have another push into the bottom left here, sorry. No drones here to be roasted, or they were pulled back very quickly by Dark, so he's not going to be taking damage here. He is getting pathogen glands. I really like this. I think, especially against this heavy commitment to this battle mobile style of mech, Fungals can be massive here. Fungals can just end the game on the spot, but what else can end the game on the spot is a huge surround just like this.
Yeah, and here we go. Darky comes in from behind. The Bailey's going to find the juicy center of this army, and Ryung is going to lose everything.
Yeah, Ryung throughout this game has not been finding the trades that he wants, and Dark is just in a moment with Killer Instinct, just taking out so many of Ryung's units.
Yeah, at the same time, the Hellions are going for their own run-by as well. The Queens are going to be hunted down. The drones, only 8 of them are going to fall here. The Hellions do get cleaned up.
Hydras
the Banshees, the Hydras are here.
Yeah, those Banshees need to stay the hell away from those Hydras. They will just melt them, and the Spore is going to take out one of those Banshees as well. This is looking very dangerous. He doesn't want to get trapped here, and another Banshee's going to be going down. He's doing a really good job buying himself some time, though.
Yeah, he's buying time right now as Ryung is desperately trying to rebuild the army that he just lost. And hey, he's almost there. He's almost remaxed at this point. Now the Raven is joining the fray. And really, that's what he was missing in that fight.
I mean, unironically, a good anti-armor missile here would do quite a lot.
Yeah, it really can. At the same time, another Hellion run by here on the left-hand side. Ooh, Dark is being pulled apart right now. He's not really been able to keep up with this.
I think he actually F2'd back some Banes though, which is very unusual to see from Dark. He's normally a bit of a god when it comes to the chaos.
Yeah, exactly. But Ryung apparently is going to be able to keep up with him in that chaos, is now remaxing, is working towards his armory upgrades. As you were saying before, his upgrades have been a little bit lax. He's actually got 0-0 for the time being, but that will soon change.
Yeah, I suppose for a lot of these interactions, the upgrades don't actually change anything, so it makes sense.
Yeah, definitely, as the Widow Mines have arrived. They're being incorporated here. It looks like Ryung may be tuning into some of Miguelito's streams. Love to see it.
Yeah, I love this. This is a really cool way to keep playing this mobile style further on into the game, where normally you might have to transition more into that slow mech, but by adding in the mines, you can continue to be active on the map. And looks like Dark knows he can't really push into this.
Yeah, exactly. As long as we get the yoink, and the Raven does go down at the same time. A massive Link counterattack. What do we have at home to defend? We have plenty of mines. The mines are going to be going up, but a quick reaction out of Dark. He does split up and head towards that third.
Very nice splits, but yeah, there you go, Twitch chat. That's why making the Raven doesn't solve all your problems. As we do have actually a Ghost transition coming out from Ryung. This is perfectly timed. He's probably going to have Ghosts producing before Dark even has Lurkers producing.
Oh, exactly. I mean, the Lurker gen is done. We have the Lurker upgrades on the way, but no Lurkers yet, as you were saying. Meanwhile, massive mine shots going to be going off on the Lings.
Oh, huge mine shots, and Dark is really struggling to get any Ling Bane up here.
He really is. Once again, the right-hand base is going to be denied, but yeah, we're going for a massive surround.
Yeah, these Cyclones will be forfeit, and this is where things start to get really scary for Ryung. Having a look at the units tabs, he has 8 Hellions, 11 Cyclones, and a Banshee. That's it. And there is going to be about 10 Lurkers coming his way.
Yeah, it's a lot of Lunkers, Puppy, but you know what we have? We have the Widow Mines. You do go for the Armburrow as well. How good can these connections be? I don't think they can be that good. Oh, God.
Wow. The micro from Dark there was absolutely incredible. He kept constant pressure on with his Lings without committing all of them at once, and was just splitting, re-splitting, reorganizing. That was beautiful Ling micro.
Yeah,
my goodness.
The shuffling of all those Lings to avoid those mine shots, the force the Armburrows as well. A very efficient trade from Dark, and now the Lunkers have arrived. Third base is going to be denied. This would be fifth base. There's not going to be any mining here at all.
Yeah, PF's going to be going down. Third base is pushed away. We have just that one base to the north mining for Ryung, and it looks like Ryung knows he has to go for a counterattack while he tries to get up anything that can deal with the Lurkers. But looking at the production tab, none of this deals with Lurkers. I'm not sure what the plan is here.
Yeah, we have Cyclones and Hellions on the way, and none of that can really deal with said Lurkers. He's going for another counterattack as we speak. Is forcing reinforcements to stay at home for Dark, but the Lurkers are still pushing forward. They're breaking into the natural.
There's really no answer to these Lurkers. I mean, Ghosts are not on the way. We don't even have tanks on the way. I don't think Ryung's made a single tank this game.
Yeah, no tanks at all. No splash damage. Oh my God, as we get some
the
friendly fire. The Cyclones go down on the front lines. We get some lock-ons on some of these Lurkers, but there's just too much Ling Hydra. GG gets called, and Dark ties it up. We're going to the ace match.
GG. Ryung trying to make a very creative style work out there, but Dark was so patient at not overcommitting into those Widow Mines for the most part, and does get the win in the end.
It's very well done. As you were saying, just a great kind of map positioning and map awareness from Dark initially to get all those surrounds, get all those amazing trades, and towards the end there, just flexing that micro, flexing that control. Really solid stuff here from Dark. And really necessary stuff because, you know, DKZ, they were up against the wall, and now we have an ace match. Now we have to figure out what players the teams will field.
Yeah, imagine the stress for Dark. He was playing against Mech, and he had to win.
He did.
Against Mech.
Against Mech. And not just Mech. Mech with a Raven.
That's barely possible.
He defies all odds. He does the impossible. And is he confident now coming into the ace match? Because from Onsyde Gaming, I feel like the answer is clear. Maybe like Maru is the S tier player on their team. And if you're DKZ, you have to be expecting that. You have to be anticipating Maru. So who do you send out to snipe him?
Yeah, Dark vs Maru. I hear what you're saying. I want it. I'm ready.
is it going to be the Dark or is it going to be the Hero? You know, like Hero, you could argue that at times he can sometimes struggle against Maru, but in a best of one, you know, like how confident are these players?
Yeah, anything could happen, especially depending on what the map is going to be. I do think it would be really funny to see Dark versus Maru and then have Maru just go for the exact same build that Ryung did.
Oh boy, I mean, I guess a lot of this is a little bit precedented on the map itself. As I quickly double check, the ace match is going to be taking place on Gressvan.
Oh, let's go. Perfect map for it. We could be seeing Dark versus Maru Giga late game.
Oh boy. We could
But
see that. Yeah, we could. I'm getting like Data C flashbacks. That's what I'm getting. Oh god. So yeah, Gressvan, we could end up in a late game situation in ZVT if that were to happen. If Dark allows that to happen, that's the other thing, is that Dark is more than willing to, at the drop of a hat, go for like a Nidus all in or some kind of like massive aggressive play, even against Maru. So yeah, I think we're both probably counting out Oliveira. I don't think Oliveira would be a wise choice here, considering the most recent history between Maru and Oliveira.
Yeah, no, I don't think that would be the wisest.
Fair enough. I'm actually a little bit curious here. Let me just double check. I want to see what is the history between Hero and Maru. Like the way that we talk about it, sometimes it sounds like heavily one-sided, but is it really? When was the last time Hero took a series? We have that.
Yeah, I don't think it is one-sided. I think they go back and forth.
Boy, and it looks like...
You're looking it up?
Yeah, okay, so this year, I'll only read out the 2023 stats. Between Hero and Maru, Maru has won 75% of the time, compared to the 25%.
Okay. More than I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of Hero.
I feel like it's always close. Like whenever it's a best of five, it's always like 2-3.
Yeah, exactly. Oh boy, so... yeah, Hero doesn't have the best track record. So I'm curious what the chat thinks as well. Chat, if you were DKZ, who do you send out? Do you send out Hero, Dark, or Oliveira? Who has the highest chance at bringing down Maru? And Asher, is there a world where we don't send out Maru?
No. No shot.
Yeah, it's
Oh, my predictions are so wrong this week.
Oh god. Yeah, for those in the chat who maybe want to take part in our predictions, I don't have it set up to show off the predictions today, unfortunately. Usually Kuro handles the production and she's got all that covered. But you can submit your predictions in our Discord server. You can do that.
You got them exactly right. I should have just copied you. I knew it.
What did I do? I didn't even know what I did.
You did 2-0 for Mario, 2-0 for Hero, 1-1 Ryung Dark.
Yeah, I mean it's obvious.
I got it completely wrong. I went 1-1, 1-1, 0-2.
Oh my god. I mean, I told you before, my Ryung Dark pick was like a Hail Mary. It was like it was
copium.
That was me coping. That was me wanting to believe in Ryung and you know, I ate tuna today. You ate tuna today as well? It should have been a sign.
It's true. I didn't even think about that.
No shot! Mate.
Oh, that's crazy. It's actually crazy.
Did anyone predict in the chat? I want to see, did anyone predict in the chat? Okay, we got Marco saying Dark. We got Ordy saying Hero. Mate, they're not ready.
I'm kind of shocked they sent Oliveira.
Yeah.
Like, are the other players busy, or do they just actually favor Oliveira versus Maru?
I mean, Dark was available. He stepped out. He stepped away. Okay, so Asher just said it. For those wondering, the ace players are going to be Maru and Oliveira. A rematch.
Okay. TVT and Gressfan should be a banger, but okay, I'm trying to think back to the games between Maru and Oliveira and think, were they close? Game 2, not really. Game 1 though, what happened in game 1 again? That was Maru doing, no, game 1 wasn't close either.
Yeah, it wasn't. It wasn't. It was a pretty one-sided series earlier, but I mean, I have to imagine that the players, they got together, Hero, Dark, and Oliveira, and either Hero and Dark they weren't feeling it, they weren't confident, or Oliveira, for whatever reason, was like, get me in. I have one veto. One time where I can like say my piece, and Oliveira, I have to imagine that he wants it. Like, it's his choice.
He wants revenge. As here we go, the beeps are starting up, and we're gonna have Maru versus Oliveira.
Yeah, here we go. Let's go, Papi. Let's go. It all ends here one way or another. It's a best of 7. Both teams are 3-3. One game to end it all. One final best of 1 to determine who wins between these two teams.
Yeah, that's right. And I mean, Gressfan has been a really dynamic map, particularly for TVT. We have seen Maru as well play some very aggressive playstyles, just kind of sending everything across the map when he plays this map, but you never know what we're going to be seeing from him. As spawning in the top left-hand corner for Onsyde, it is Maru.
And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Gressfan, we have his opponent. We have the Chinese Terran player representing CranKy Gaming. It is Oliveira, the reigning world champion. He just got 2-0'd by Maru, but his mental is strong. He has no fear. He wants his revenge.
We did have a few people in the chat.
Yeah, I just
Macrocosm said, "My heart says Ollie, because I will never get tired of seeing Maru wipe the floor with him."
You're an animal. You're an animal. I did see as well at the very top. Istan said Maru versus Oliveira ace match, please. So he wanted it as well. So yeah, apparently some people did foresee this, and we'll see how this does turn out. As Maru is going for a single gas opener, Oliveira going for the double gas.
Yeah, I think, let me just check. Yep, Maru's going to be repeating his build order from game 1. So this is a gas first.
Yeah, so very similar hero, exact same as game 1 from Maru, as you were saying. We'll see how the game will differ instead. Oliveira gets across the map with his SCV, and this time it looks like Maru is going to go for the depot block again. He will.
Bizarre.
Just like
absolutely bizarre.
Yeah.
There you go. So CC goes down. Factory will be a little bit behind. We do have room, of course, for that reactor to go down. So it should be another reactor factory build coming out from Maru here.
Exactly. We saw this in game 1 to kind of bring people back for those who weren't here for it. Going for this faster gas. As you were saying, Asher was typically for a faster factory, but because Maru is more concerned with hiding this build, it does kind of delay the factory in the end. So yeah, an interesting choice here from Maru. And I'm sure she has his reasons for it.
Oh. Okay, yeah, Maru's going to be changing things up now as well. Going to be playing a little bit safer, just pumping out Reapers. Maybe a couple Hellions after this as well. This is how Beyond actually plays this quite often. Just plays a more standard game off this, and usually you're going to be seeing a medevac at some point as well. Maybe a Widow Mine just for a little bit of added safety as well.
Yeah, exactly. So he's going to be playing this out a little bit more safe and secure. Meanwhile, his opponent likewise just setting up for his own 1-1-1. CC going to be on location far later than Maru's, of course, but at least he'll be on location to make up for that as he shoots first. Oh my god. Up.
Yeah, he's going to be taking out one of those Reapers. So lovely micro from Oliveira. Maru now in a little bit of a scary spot, but Oliveira going to respect that Hellion as he does know roughly when it's going to be coming out.
Yeah, but you know what? He backs off to the safety of his own Hellion as well as looking for a way up into the main base. He does confirm the production, but the wall is a wall, so he doesn't get in.
Yeah, wall is a wall. Some very neat micro coming out from Oliveira. Going to be making the absolute most out of that Reaper. Oh, that was pathing. That sucks.
That was so unfortunate, as both Reapers do go up the cliff to their own deaths. Up until that point, as you were saying, very clean micro out of Oliveira. Just a bit of a mistake towards the end.
Yeah, Reapers do some really dumb pathing sometimes. I think he clicked on the ground up towards Maru's fourth, and they just thought that the shortest path would be to go through there. So yeah, pretty unlucky. He probably wasn't looking.
Yeah, not looking. Feels bad, man. As you were saying earlier, we do have the mine on the way from Maru, but he's gonna be loading up and going for a mine marine drop instead.
Yeah, so pretty common to use it this way. This is, generally how Beyond likes to play it out as well. So you get that mine for safety at the start. Then once you're not too worried about Reapers and Hellions anymore, you can just load up into a medevac, get a bit of damage across the map, give yourself that map control. But at the same time, we do see... Oh, okay. I think that's a fake cloak.
Yeah, the cloak is revealed, and it is going to be cancelled here for Maru, so he's forcing Oliveira to maybe overreact. We already have a couple of Banshees set up, and it looks like they are preparing themselves, sorry, a couple of Ravens set up, and they are preparing themselves to defend against potentially a Banshee up into the main.
It's actually crazy that he knew the Hellion was going to pop up and get that scout. I had no idea that the Hellion would poke into the main there, but I guess he knows his opponent very well, knows the tendencies of Oliveira. But Oliveira, at the same time, I really like this adaptation that he's gone for. He threw down his third CC very early, and this is a really good play that you can go for against Fast Expand to try to get the economy back in your favor.
Yeah, and we'll see if he can get away with it. For the time being, Maru is unawares of the fast RCC of Oliveira is moving out across the map with his entire army. Again, looking to try and catch Oliveira a little bit off guard, considering that he's forced a reaction out of him, which we do see a scan into the main base of Maru.
Yeah, Maru going to be skipping tanks for a while, which is a very interesting way to play. I'm sure Oliveira has recognized this as well as, this third CC is going to be under a little bit of trouble.
A bit of
trouble? What does that mean?
No, we know what you said, puppy. It's fine. It's fine.
Okay.
Yeah. It's in trouble. It's under the trouble.
Yeah.
What's it under?
Under the trouble.
Yeah.
Dark.
Who's on top of him? Oh.
Yeah, exactly.
He's riding him, puppy. He's riding him as the mine. Mine not quite gonna go off. Oliveira was looking. Yeah, he's looking this time, puppy. He's looking. That's good.
Yeah, Maru's now in a really awkward spot. Oliveira's identified that Maru doesn't have tanks, and from the scan that he threw down on the production as well, saw that there were no tanks on the way. So he realizes that if he can get these tanks in an awkward spot, it's going to be really hard for Maru to dislodge it. And I'm very curious to see what Maru's going to do about this, because I'm really not sure what he can do.
Yeah, he's just continuing marine production instead. I mean, to be fair, he does have 3 Ravens available as well, so he could be looking to go for one big engage, to go for the disables and dive on the army as Oliveira is pushing through.
Yeah, and there we go. Maru's stim is just about to finish up. So if that is his plan, I think we'll be seeing it kick into action quite soon. The Cyclone from Oliveira to zone out the Ravens. That's fantastic.
Yeah, and as soon as he spots the Ravens, Oliveira, he doesn't like it. He unsieges. He's going to be backing off instead. It's going to be rotating around to kind of keep up with said Ravens.
Wow, what a high-level TVT. This is such an amazing battle between these two players, and what a perfect ace match as well. As the Cyclone's going to pick off one of the tanks.
Yeah, the lock-on is real. The tank siege, but one of the tanks is going to be going down. We have the disables as well.
Yeah, Maru going to be going for it. Disables every tank, jumps on top of these units with the stim bio, but Oliveira's got some stim bio of his own, and the tanks are going to be wearing off here. And I didn't quite see it. Did Maru lose all his Ravens?
Yes, he lost all 3 of his Ravens. Likewise, Oliveira also lost his own, but Maru did lose 3 in the end.
Yeah, that's huge. This is so much more punishing for Maru because he's behind on tanks. He was really relying on hanging onto those Ravens and going for moves like that where he disables those tanks and he jumps on top of them with Marines. So now he just has way fewer options in this game. He's going to have to get a bit more creative with how he uses drops to get damage done.
Yeah, exactly. The onus is now on Maru to do some kind of counter damage. Both players are getting their third bases up and running. We have a double drop towards the south, but there is a Cyclone here to try and spot this, as Maru is going to stem on forward and shut it down.
Yeah, Cyclone goes down, and I like what Maru's doing here as well by just threatening this drop, just keeping Oliveira on edge. This is a really good way to use double drops. I mean, it can sometimes feel like you have to get damage, but just having them out on the map and just threatening drops will always force your opponent to commit units.
Yeah, as we can see, we have the Vikings stationed outside the main base. At the same time, Oliveira is going for his own double drop, but no, there is a turret in position to spot this.
Yeah, Maru all over it.
Up.
Sometimes... He gets the lock on the low health medevac as well. I mean, I was going to say, sometimes when Maru is in the zone, it feels like he just knows everything that's going to happen, like 2-3 minutes before it happens.
Yeah, and we saw that then and there. The Cyclone was in position to shut that down. The full medevac as well will go down, so a great pickoff from Maru. Great counter damage is being dealt as both players are going to be getting their third bases up and running. We see a bit of a scan as well from Oliveira to try and catch wind of what's going on.
Yeah, Maru going up into this 8-rack setup, so he is going to be prioritizing mass bio here, and I think that is an advantage that he can look for, especially with his 2-2 quite a long way ahead of Oliveira's.
Yeah, so he will have the better army, the better Marines at least. Obviously, he doesn't have the tank count to work with, but if he ever catches some of these tanks unawares and exposed, then he can maybe try and pick them off.
Yeah, Maru's got a big timing here with 2-2. This could get pretty scary for Oliveira. I mean, Oliveira's got his bases covered extremely well back here on the left, but if he does at any point get caught out on the map, it's going to be quite nasty for him.
Yeah, I'm sure Maru is waiting for that opportunity. He's waiting for any kind of move out from his opponent to either catch the army or even go for a counterattack instead. We'll see what he's able to get, as it looks like two armies will collide towards the north, and Oliveira will have to respect that, as there are tanks for Maru.
Yeah, Oliveira going to be retreating, and the name of the game here for Maru is just map control.
Yeah, and just like that, as soon as 2-2 is done, we have 3-3 on the way as well for Maru, so he wants to make sure he stays on top of that upgrade advantage.
Yeah, Maru completely dominating the map here, has his 5th coming down on location, has a terrifying army here to the side as well. I do think that if he commits really hard to the right side, it could be quite hard for Oliveira to deal with because he doesn't have very many tanks there.
Yeah, exactly. There's only one tank or two tanks in position. The rest, though, are going to be keeping up with the rotations of Maru. We do have another army towards the south, and he's going to be dropping on top of the tanks.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, this is a fantastic move, but he thinks better of it. Too many tanks, too well spread here. He's just going to take out the sensor towers. So he's taking out the sensor towers on both sides now.
Yeah, the sensor towers go down. He does trade 2 medevacs for it. But regardless, Oliveira is now in the dark. Is going to have a harder time keeping up with these rotations.
Yeah, that's right. But it's Oliveira that wants to get aggressive here. And look at that Marine count. He's going to overwhelm this army.
Yeah, the tanks are on siege. They're being caught out. One goes down for free. A second tank barely does escape. And we do see Maru reinforcing.
Yeah, both players have 2-2, so Oliveira is going to be taking this fight. He does have the tanks to support him, has the Vikings for that air control as well, so he can push back the medevacs of Maru. And Oliveira is sitting pretty in this game. It could be anyone's game, though, as he is walking into the tanks. This is a very brave move, but I think it's going to be paying off.
Yeah, he takes down one of those stray tanks towards the south, but he loses other tanks of his own as well, so not the best trade from Oliveira, but again, he wants to try to collapse on this army.
Yeah, I do love the way that Oliveira is using his map control, but he's bled off so many Marines now. I think he's in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, exactly. This one flanking tank doing so well here for Maru, as he doesn't quite have the vision, so it looks like the tank is going to go down.
Yeah, that's right. Meanwhile, we have a big Marine counterattack coming down to the left. I'm not sure if Oliveira still has tanks at his third.
He's got one tank at his third base, and I don't know if that's really going to be enough. Meanwhile, Oliveira, he's going for a Doom Drop.
Oh, yeah, okay, I love this Doom Drop. Looks like he's just going to be skirting the edges there of that sensor tower. Does catch out this army on the left here with his own sensor tower as well. And there we go. The massive Doom Drop is going to be setting up here. Maru reacts quite quickly, even going for his own drop to drop on top of this. And oh, that's brilliant. That's such a good move.
Yeah, exactly. There are not enough Marines to protect these tanks, and the tanks of Oliveira, they're going to be going down.
Wow, what an amazing response by Maru, and this very creative idea from Oliveira completely backfires.
Yeah, it falls on its face. He loses his tank advantage, or at least the tanks that he had there available to him. There we go. Maru does have 10 to only the 6 of Oliveira. He does get within range of this planetary, but he doesn't have enough to protect them.
Yeah, he can't stay here. Only 2 tanks. He's lost so many tanks. Maru now has a massive tank lead, and Oliveira is feeling stressed to make something happen. But he is in a really good position here.
Yeah, exactly. He's going to be able to lay siege upon that base, that center base from the low ground. He does go for a counter attack, and he gets the CC.
Yeah, that orbital is going to be going down. This is a fantastic position here. Maru's going to be jumping on top of it. There's not enough tanks. There's not enough tanks for Oliveira.
Yeah, exactly. There's just too much in position for Maru. He completely eats up the army of Oliveira, and just like that, he's forced to back off. He gets a base, to be fair, but we have another to take its place. The main.
Look how fast Oliveira is. It actually blows me away how fast he is as a player. He has been sieging and unsieging his tanks almost constantly, and look how much macro he's done back at home. I mean, he's got his 6 coming down on position. He's spending all of his money on CCs really nicely. He's just playing this game out of his mind right now.
Yeah, exactly. He is expanding behind this. He's trying to muster up a force as well. We do see Maru with a lot of momentum. He still has a massive tank lead right now, but we do see Oliveira just trying to dive on top of the tanks.
Yeah, he's going to get quite a few of them, but not really enough as the bio is starting to overwhelm. He does enough to slow down this push, and he does enough to bring the sting out of the push. But behind this, we do see Maru. He is already getting into his late game transition, and Maru is the master of late game, especially in TBT.
Yeah, the Ravens are on the way. The StarCraft production has arrived. Oliveira does have a couple of these Liberators out to stem the tide, and he's going to be able to force Maru to siege up and back off. Behind this, Oliveira is going for a double drop, looking to try and threaten some of these fringe bases.
I love it. Oliveira being so active, doing a really good job. He is keeping up with Maru. I don't really feel like any of these 2 players are faster than the other. If any, I feel like Oliveira is maybe playing a little bit faster, but this is just an absolutely top tier TBT.
It really is. The double jump doesn't get too much damage done, does force a lot of lost mining time. Maru is forced to react as well with his Marines. Meanwhile, Oliveira does push back. The main army has been able to reestablish his tank count. We are now even in set tanks. Oh no!
On the tanks are exposed for Maru, so Oliveira is going to be jumping on top of it here. Takes out 2 of those tanks, but the Ravens are huge there for Maru. Takes out some of the most dangerous tanks, but he's losing all of his own tanks. This was a great move by Oliveira, and suddenly he has so much momentum on his side.
Yeah, that was beautifully done. The double drop that was towards the south actually met up with the main army, reinforced very quickly, and Oliveira was able to snowball from there. And now his tanks are once again getting in range of this planetary base. We do have Liberators threatening the fresh mining bases of Maru.
Yeah, I'm going to say it again. Oliveira, he's playing so fast this game, and because Maru has been going for that Raven transition instead of Liberators, he can't really deal with these tanks. And just as I say that, we do see Liberators starting to be produced, which I think is the wise choice in this situation.
Yeah, but he doesn't have them yet, as we have more Liberators showing up again, just denying more mining time here from his opponent. A drop being set up towards the north, just dealing with that turret, making it a little bit easier to catch him out a little bit later on.
Oliveira, he is everywhere. He is just clearing up vision left, right, and center, using all of this harass just to keep Maru on his toes, and he is just in constant motion with his siege line as well. This is just incredible play.
Yeah, and there we go. The southern base is going to be going down. Maru, he just cannot keep up. I mean, his tank out was reset earlier. He can't really engage with the army, not anymore.
Yeah, I mean, we were really questioning the choice to go for Oliveira over someone like Dark or over Hero, but I mean, look at the map right now. Oliveira is dominating.
Yeah, he really is. We do have a Liberator coming in from behind. A couple of tanks of Oliveira are going to get picked off. Didn't have the best trade there, but he did get an entire mineral line. 25 SCVs went down, and now Maru's cut away from one of his only mining bases.
Oh, his tanks are completely exposed. The bio was so far away from his tanks.
The bio is completely out of position. We do see a couple of tanks going to be remaining alive here, but the planetary goes down.
Yeah, Maru doesn't have a mining base right now. He is completely all in, but he just took an amazing fight. So it's going to be time for him to counterattack right now. Can Oliveira hold on?
That's the question, Oliveira. He's trying to muster up an army. He has an even tank count to his opponent. 3 tanks just now barely coming out. He's going to have the defender's advantage. Marines are on the way. He did keep his medevacs alive as well. The pressure is on Maru to make something happen.
Yeah, Maru absolutely has to make something happen here. He has to take good trades. The Liberator's going to help with that. So Oliveira, he has to commit to take it down. He does take it down, and Maru's going to take the fight right now.
Yeah, do we have any disables? The answer is no. We do see the Marines pushing on forward. They're getting on top of the tanks of Maru. His army crumbles.
I think Oliveira's done it. GG, and Oliveira takes it for DKZ.
GG, well played. Oliveira got 2-0'd earlier today. It looked dominant from the side of Maru, but here in the ace match, he turns it all on and he fights back for his team.
That was an incredible game. Such impressive stuff from Oliveira. I feel like that was world champion Oliveira right there.
GG, well played. Congratulations to DragonKy Gaming. Congratulations to Oliveira as well for doing it for his team, for fighting back. No one believed. And even some of the people in the Twitch had to believe. They just wanted to see Maru dumpster Oliveira as well. So Oliveira fighting back, looking so damn good, so fast, so crisp. GG. Oh.
Mate, he believed. A normal man, any normal man can beat Maru.
Yeah, there you go. The normal human being does come out on top, and yeah, congratulations to Oliveira, congratulations to DKZ, a pretty important win here as well for DKZ. They haven't been doing the most amazing in World Team League, especially because like Basilisk and some of these other teams have been kind of showing them up a little bit, so a very solid performance. And more importantly, it does show us as well, shout out to Oliveira. You know, we keep bringing up how he's not in tournament, like in world champion form. You know, he's like been dropping maps and dropping games and getting taken out early on in these weekly tournaments, but he still has it in him. He can still go toe to toe with the best in the world.
Oh yeah, he brought it out.
He whipped it out, Bobby. Yeah. GG, well played. Oh my god. With that is our first series in the books for tonight. Only the first one, that was Onsyde versus DKZ. We have another before us as well. We are going to be getting into Team Liquid versus Psystorm Gaming.
Is there a break? What's going on?
That's a good question. do you need a break after that? We're going to be going on a...
I could use some water.
Yeah, we're going to be going on a short break. I don't know how long it'll be. It'll depend how long it takes for the players to get ready. When we return, we'll have Team Liquid versus Psystorm.
Cool. See you soon.